In the complex theater of international relations, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine unfolds as a dramatic saga of power, strategy, and ambition. As we delve into this intricate narrative, it becomes evident that the stakes extend far beyond mere territorial disputes, touching upon the very essence of geopolitical dynamics. Our journey begins in August 2024, when Ukraine boldly initiated a large-scale offensive against Russia's Kursk region. This marked a significant moment in history, as it was the first ground offensive by a foreign army against Russia since the tumultuous days of World War II. Ukraine's intent was clear: to compel Moscow to withdraw its forces and halt their advance in the Donbass, particularly in the strategic regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. President Volodymyr Zelensky, at the helm of Ukraine, sought to strengthen his nation's negotiating position through this audacious move. However, the unfolding events deviated from Ukraine's expectations. The Russian armed forces, initially taken by surprise, quickly regrouped and fortified their defenses. By shoring up the front with tens of thousands of soldiers, they effectively stymied Ukraine's progress in Kursk. The early days of January bore witness to a Ukrainian counteroffensive against the village of Berdyan, a strategic maneuver aimed at demonstrating Ukraine's resilience and tactical acumen. Observers speculated that Ukraine sought to showcase its capability to challenge the Russian military and bolster its standing for future diplomatic engagements. Amidst these military maneuvers, whispers of international diplomacy began to surface. Reports suggested that newly elected U.S. President Donald Trump was advocating for Ukraine to initiate negotiations with Moscow following his inauguration. However, the Ukrainian offensive appeared to fall short, as intelligence sources indicated by January 17th that Berdyan had not been secured by Ukraine. As Russia maintained its stronghold, concerns reverberated globally, particularly in Great Britain. The Kremlin expressed unease over the potential establishment of NATO-affiliated military infrastructure in Ukraine. On January 16th, a significant development unfolded as President Zelensky and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer signed a bilateral agreement with a century-long scope. This accord outlined mutual options for constructing and maintaining military infrastructure in Ukraine, including military bases and logistic facilities. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov articulated Russia's apprehensions, while also highlighting Britain's unwavering support for Ukraine. London's commitment was substantial, pledging at least £7.6 billion, or $9.7 billion US dollars, in military aid, encompassing tanks, armored vehicles, ammunition, and air defense systems. This long-term military assistance was part of a centennial agreement, ensuring annual support until the financial year 2030-2031. The British Ministry of Defence's declaration in August underscored the strategic partnership, with Ukrainian armed forces reportedly utilizing British weapons for operations on Russian soil. However, beneath the diplomatic surface, tensions simmered. A report from The Telegraph hinted at discussions between Prime Minister Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron about deploying peacekeepers in Ukraine. The Russian embassy in London viewed these developments with suspicion, labeling the British government's actions as provocative and warning of potential escalation. Russia pointed to previous negotiations between Moscow and Kiev in Istanbul, Turkey, in March 2022. The talks had nearly culminated in a peace agreement before Kiev's unexpected withdrawal, allegedly under Western and particularly British pressure. This decision, according to Moscow, perpetuated the conflict with the intention of strategically undermining Russia on the battlefield. As the world watches, this complex saga of military maneuvers, international diplomacy, and the quest for peace continues to evolve, posing a crucial question. In a world where power dynamics are ever shifting, how far will nations go to secure their interests, and at what cost? As we ponder these intricate geopolitical threads, we invite you to join us in exploring further. Subscribe for more insights and stories that delve into the heart of global affairs. As the narrative deepens, the interplay of military strategy and diplomatic maneuvering becomes more nuanced. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is not just a tale of territorial skirmishes, but a profound testament to historical tensions and strategic ambitions. The Kursk region stands at the forefront, echoing with military operations and strategic advancements. In early January 2024, Ukrainian forces attempted to reclaim lost ground, showcasing their resilience even as Russian reinforcements, including North Korean soldiers, bolstered defenses. The stakes were high as Russia aimed to retake territories captured by Ukraine, with numbers painting a vivid picture of intense military engagements. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported attacking 152 targets in Ukraine, including military airports and production facilities. This offensive underscored Russia's intent to weaken Ukraine's infrastructure, employing technology alongside traditional warfare. With claims of destroying 652 combat aircraft, 283 helicopters, and over 40,000 drones, the scale of conflict became evident. Amidst this, strategic partnerships and international alliances emerged. Russia's January 17 report highlighted military efforts to consolidate control over Kursk, reclaiming 800 square kilometers of territory. This achievement reinforced Moscow's position amid Ukrainian counterattacks, yet implications extended beyond the battlefield. The bilateral agreement between Ukraine and the UK, with its century-long scope, signaled deepening cooperation, countering Russian influence. This development, while strengthening Ukraine's defenses, raised questions about long-term consequences. The Kremlin's response, articulated by Dmitry Peskov, reflected concern about Western military infrastructure. These fears were compounded by the UK's steadfast support, manifesting in substantial military aid and strategic cooperation. As conflict unfolds, the geopolitical landscape grows complex, with interests of multiple nations intersecting. Ukraine's counter-offensive efforts in Berdyan highlight challenges and opportunities in the ongoing struggle. Despite setbacks, Ukraine's resolve remains driven by sovereignty and negotiation aspirations. International actors, particularly the UK, underscore the global dimension of conflict as nations navigate supporting Ukraine's aspirations and managing strategic interests. In navigating these narratives, an enduring question arises. In a world defined by shifting alliances, what future awaits regions caught in the crossfire? Join us in unraveling these threads, exploring stories shaping our world. Subscribe for more insights and analyses as we delve into global affairs. As we continue exploring this intricate geopolitical tapestry, the delicate balance between military strategy and diplomatic engagement becomes even more pronounced. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine serves as a poignant reminder of how regional tensions can escalate into broader international concerns, drawing in a myriad of global players with vested interests. At the heart of this ongoing narrative is the strategic significance of military operations in the Kursk region, a focal point in the tug-of-war for control and influence. By early January 2024, Ukraine, despite facing formidable challenges, demonstrated remarkable resilience in its efforts to reclaim territories. The conflict was not merely about reclaiming land, but also about asserting sovereignty and showcasing military prowess in the face of a well-entrenched adversary. The statistics provided by the Russian Ministry of Defense were staggering, highlighting the scale and intensity of the ongoing engagements. Reports indicated that Russia had attacked 152 Ukrainian targets, including military airports and production facilities, in a bid to cripple Ukraine's military infrastructure. The figures were a testament to the conflict's severity, with claims of the destruction of 652 combat aircraft, 283 helicopters, and over 40,000 drones. These numbers painted a vivid picture of the high-stakes battle, underscoring the relentless pursuit of military dominance. However, the implications of this conflict extended far beyond the battlefield, touching upon the intricate web of global alliances in geopolitical strategies. As Russia sought to consolidate its hold over the Kursk region, the reverberations were felt across the international community. The bilateral agreement between Ukraine and the United Kingdom, with its century-long scope, signaled a deepening of military cooperation with significant geopolitical ramifications. This strategic partnership was seen as a move to counterbalance Russian influence and bolster Ukraine's defense capabilities. The agreement's provisions for constructing and maintaining military infrastructure in Ukraine highlighted the long-term commitment to strengthening Ukraine's defense posture. Yet this development also raised questions about the broader implications of such alliances, particularly in light of Russia's concerns. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov articulated these apprehensions, emphasizing the potential encroachment of Western military infrastructure on Russia's borders. The Kremlin viewed these developments with suspicion, perceiving them as a challenge to its regional influence and security ambitions. The United Kingdom's steadfast support for Ukraine was evident, with substantial military aid pledged, including tanks, armored vehicles, ammunition, and air defense systems. This long-term military assistance, part of a centennial agreement, underscored the strategic alignment between the two nations, with the UK committing to providing annual support until the financial year 2030-2031. As the conflict continued to unfold, the geopolitical landscape grew increasingly complex, with the interests of multiple nations intersecting in a high-stakes game of strategy and power. Ukraine's counteroffensive efforts in Berdyan served as a focal point, highlighting the challenges and opportunities inherent in the ongoing struggle. Despite initial setbacks, Ukraine's resolve remained unshaken, driven by a desire to assert its sovereignty and secure a stronger negotiating position in future diplomatic engagements. The involvement of international actors, particularly the United Kingdom, underscored the global dimension of the conflict as nations sought to navigate the delicate balance between supporting Ukraine's aspirations and managing their own strategic interests. As we navigate these complex narratives, we're left with an enduring question. In a world where alliances are forged and broken on the anvil of geopolitical interests, what future awaits the regions caught in the crossfire of international ambitions? We invite you to join us in unraveling these intricate threads, exploring the stories that shape our world. For more insights and analyses, subscribe and stay connected with us as we continue to delve into the heart of global affairs. As we delve further into this intricate geopolitical narrative, the interplay of military strategy and international diplomacy becomes ever more complex. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is a vivid illustration of how localized disputes can have far-reaching global implications, drawing in a host of international actors with their own strategic interests. Central to this ongoing saga is the strategic importance of the Kursk region, which has become a focal point in the struggle for dominance and influence. By early January 2024, Ukraine, despite facing significant challenges, continued to demonstrate resilience in its efforts to reclaim lost territories. This conflict was not merely about territorial gains. It was a demonstration of Ukraine's sovereignty and military resilience against a formidable adversary. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported striking 152 Ukrainian targets, including military airports and production facilities, highlighting the scale of military operations. These figures underscore the severity of the conflict, with Russia claiming the destruction of 652 combat aircraft, 283 helicopters, and over 40,000 drones. Such statistics paint a vivid picture of the high-stakes battle, emphasizing the relentless pursuit of military supremacy. Yet the ramifications of this conflict extend beyond the battlefield, touching on a complex web of global alliances and strategic interests. As Russia worked to consolidate its control over the Kursk region, the international community felt the reverberations. The century-long bilateral agreement between Ukraine and the United Kingdom marked a significant deepening of military cooperation with substantial geopolitical implications. This partnership was seen as a strategic move to counter Russian influence and bolster Ukraine's defense capabilities. The agreement's provisions for constructing and maintaining military infrastructure in Ukraine highlighted a long-term commitment to enhancing Ukraine's defense posture. However, this development raised important questions about the broader implications of such alliances, especially in light of Russian concerns. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov expressed apprehensions about the potential encroachment of Western military infrastructure near Russian borders, viewing these developments as a challenge to Russia's regional influence and security. The United Kingdom's unwavering support for Ukraine was evident, with substantial military aid pledged, including tanks, armored vehicles, ammunition, and air defense systems. This long-term military assistance, part of a centennial agreement, underscored the strategic alignment between the two nations, with the UK committing to provide annual support until the financial year 2030-2031. As the conflict continued to evolve, the geopolitical landscape became increasingly complex, with the interests of multiple nations intersecting in a high-stakes game of strategy and power. Ukraine's counter-offensive efforts in Berdyan highlighted both the challenges and opportunities inherent in the ongoing struggle. Despite initial setbacks, Ukraine's resolve remained firm, driven by a desire to assert its sovereignty and secure a stronger negotiating position in future diplomatic engagements. The involvement of international actors, particularly the United Kingdom, emphasized the global dimension of the conflict, as nations sought to navigate the delicate balance between supporting Ukraine's aspirations and managing their own strategic interests. As we navigate these complex narratives, an enduring question arises. In a world where alliances are forged and broken on the anvil of geopolitical interests, what future awaits regions caught in the crossfire of international ambitions? We invite you to join us in unraveling these intricate threads, exploring the stories that shape our world. For more insights and analyses, subscribe and stay connected with us as we continue to delve into the heart of global affairs.